Unlike keyboard instruments, which have 12 notes to each octave, the harp has only 7. Where they are similar is that on a keyboard, there are 7 white keys per octave, and that's something that will become important later when we look at creating your own harp glissandi. Now, those 7 strings per octave of the harp are more closely spaced together than the white notes of a piano, so when writing for harp, it's safe to say that you can write spans of ninths or tenths, whereas when you're writing music for keyboard, you run the risk of making a part difficult to play if the span is greater than a ninth. But unlike a keyboard's white notes, the pitches of a harp strings are adjustable, and here's what that's all about. Harp strings are tuned to the notes of the C-flat major scale, so each octave repeats the notes of C-flat, D-flat, E-flat, F-flat, G-flat, A-flat, and B-flat. For now, we can refer to the 7 strings generically as the C, D, E, F, G, A, and B strings. So that's 7 strings, and now if we look at the base of the harp, we find 7 pedals. 3 on the left, operated with the left foot, 4 on the right, operated with the right foot. And as you can see, the names of the pedals correspond with the names of the strings, and indeed, the C pedal is used to control the pitch of all the harp's C strings. The D pedal controls the pitch of all the D strings, and so on. Each pedal travels in a slot that has 3 notches or steps, which we call the flat, natural, and sharp positions. So if the C pedal is set to the flat position, all the C strings will sound a C flat. If it's in the middle or natural position, all the C strings are stretched and will now sound a C natural. And in the bottom or sharp position, all the C strings are stretched even more to sound C sharp. And of course, all the other pedals work the same way for the strings associated with them. So, when a harpist needs to play C minor, the harpist would set all of the notes to the middle or natural position, except of course for the flat notes in that scale, B flat, E flat, and A flat. So as you can imagine, to accommodate different keys and modes and scales, harpists have to routinely change pedal positions to retune various strings to accommodate them. And they'll do this during rests between passages and sometimes right in the middle of a passage. And a skilled harpist can move multiple pedals on either side of the harp simultaneously. But if the music written for the harp requires pedals be changed that aren't adjacent, or some have to go up while others have to go down, they're going to need time to make those adjustments. And this is a very important thing to keep in mind when writing for harp, as well as when it comes to transcribing your mocked up harp part for a real player. But if your music has sudden key or modal changes, you may end up with a part that sounds good mocked up, but is extremely problematic, if not flat out unplayable, because even harpists have only 2 feet to move those 7 pedals up or down as needed. So when composing for harp, you want to avoid engaging them in a game of Twister, and here's a harp part that fits that bill with a little animation to show the crazy pedal changes that would need to occur. But here's the thing. This part sounds idiomatic for harp. And in keeping with my mantra of, if it sounds good, it is good, what would be the harm in writing this, especially if it wasn't ever going to be played by a real harpist? Well, of course, there's no harming in writing impossible to play but still good sounding music, but let's say that the intention was to have this performed by a real player. What would you do? The answer is surprisingly simple. Write the part for 2 harps. And in fact, this is exactly the approach for writing quick, harmonically shifting music for harp. In fact, if you wanted to simulate this, you could divide the harp part between 2 different harp sounds from 2 different libraries, because no 2 harps sound exactly the same. In the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create your own harp glissandi.